Hi, welcome back. Thanks for joining me. Hello again, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for coming back. We are going to continue on our 1940 Chevrolet pickup project here. And our job for this time around is to completely strip down and remove the cab and probably the grille and the radiator assembly. It's rough. Let's get to work. I think we'll just go after the big obvious pieces first. We'll try to remove our doors. You could just pop the screws out of the A-pillar if they want to come out, but we're going to try starting anyway with the hinge pins. They may want to do something, they may not. So far, we have another one of these heat and beat extravaganzas. Anything that happens below the level of burning the entire vehicle down at this point is a win. So, let's see what we got here. Got a bumper bracket. Got another bumper bracket. We've got a broken off hood side. We've got a license plate holder. We have an tail light. Ooh, that would have driven my wife crazy to hear me say that. We have an exterior door handle. I made a cane out of one of these for my grandpa once. I ought to show that to you. Got a dome light. Looks a little charred. I don't know. Anyway, looks like a piece for the bumper. And that's about it. So I think I'm gonna turn my attention towards the gas tank, get that out of here, and then we start in on bits and pieces. So what we have to do now is we've got four little screws here holding each one of these ribs on. And we gotta clean that screw head out. All the years of the der schmutz in there. And once we do that, they seem to come out pretty easy. So der schmutz. Oh, that one doesn't. Oh, gonna have to get the impact driver out. I can't even see what I'm doing on that one. Got our straps loose, and that was successful in the light of the fact that we walked away and survived. Can't say the same for the straps. Got our wire disconnected, got our fuel line underneath disconnected. Oh, in theory, these nasty old birds should come out of here. It's empty. Any old change? Ooh, a chrysalis. So in order to get this out of here, I gotta obviously pull the steering wheel. You just pop the little horn button out. It's got two little wires, and it's just rubbery as your spring back on the horn button. To get the wheel off, there is mention in the book of a steering wheel adapter that you put on a puller. I don't have one, but these are usually not too bad to get off. And in fact, I've already loosened this one. But you just put some tension on it. Actually, it's kind of reseated itself. Put some tension on it. I take a brass hammer and tap the old shaft there, and she'll come off readily enough. I think maybe we're in for another steering wheel restoration. But anyway, I don't know if I mentioned you have to take a nut off, but you gotta take a nut off. Don't even know where I put the nut. Great. Now I'm going to go after the clamp, get that out. We got a plate down there between the pedals to get out. There's the nut. We got a lot of stuff to do. Not sure what I'm going to do about... Let me get you in here. Kind of interesting. We have a replacement Bosch windshield wiper motor. And I can show you that closer. We probably have an original up there. I'm about positive that said Bosch. American Bosch. Yep. So that's interesting. I want to get our windshield frame out if it can be salvaged. This hinge is completely gone. That hinge is just about ready to go. The crank is locked up, so we're gonna have to disconnect a bunch of stuff to even start getting that loose. But I'm just gonna keep picking around, keep removing stuff, and I'll bring you along. So I wanted to work on getting the windshield frame out, so I removed the handle, which is right down there. And if you follow that down, you see the little gearbox up in there. You follow that stainless steel strip up, and that's the gearbox. To make it easier to get to that assembly, I wanted to remove our tissue holder right here. To remove our tissue holder, we've got a screw up in each corner, right? Heated them with a propane torch. I did not want to use an oxyacetylene torch, because that would melt that thing like a Brit in an August in Arizona, right? So, and they're seized up. I just absolutely can't. Nothing's happening. So we're going to let those soak. I tried to do it, unscrew that gearbox. There's a square nut. Okay, you see there's two screws on the rusty part. There's a square nut on the back side of that holding it on, and they just turn the screws, and I don't have a right angle screwdriver here at the moment, so I can't do that. What else can I do? But I got the one wiper motor out. Still got to get the other one out. That screw that holds the wiper, that one right on top there, that's seized up. Soak that down. I might work on what? The heater box. Sure. Looks like we've got 3 nuts on 3 studs. That statement just made me uncomfortable. So I'm going to remove heater hoses and clamps and try to remove these. It moved. Something moved. I can like turn it and everything. Wow. One of life's little victories. No. A second one moved. Why are there 4 wires? Uh-oh, look what I found. Someone had a girl in here. The missus lost her nail file. What else we got? What's that? Oh, wiper blade. Nail. Starting to feel a little lost and desperate for something to do here. Everything I turn to is either seized up or blocked off by something else I need to get to, and that's seized up and blocked off, you know. And I just, even though it's very likely we won't be using any of this cab, certainly nothing above the belt line, other than maybe the dash, I'm not the guy to just cut and hack stuff if I don't have to. I don't do the Jesse James hurl, as I call it, so. I'm gonna see if we can get the stuff this way. I got the speedometer, or the gauges out anyway. What do I hear? Well, it's very clear this thing sat outside and leaked for many, many years. I'm just so impressed and having so much fun because, let's see, the tag that was more or less welded to the tailgate was a 65. And this thing is so original, let's say. Just no evidence other than this. We have 6 inches of a nylon covered wire going to the heater, and that is the only shred of evidence that I have that what's left of this truck, that is the only thing that's been modified, other than the steel plate that was welded in the bed and braces, like so on and so forth. But it's all original. It's amazing. However, you can tell that it's been outside in the rain for many, many years. Every fastener is a fight. I finally got the glove box door off and the latch for that. I'm finally getting somewhere on our little Kleenex dispenser here. I have 1 screw left that's being a pain. I was hoping I could persuade it by spinning the whole works, but doesn't look like it still wants to do the job, so I'll keep fighting it. The slots are just completely worn out. And I don't know if I can get a vice grip on it. Hey. What was that? Oh, yeah. Try this again. Nope, okay. I'm just working on the engine controls, getting them disconnected. Some things of interest. Get a better look at the old Carter W1. The old legendary, right? Air cleaner has the remnants of the original decal on there. Kind of cool. Kind of looking like America with part of Texas and Florida chopped off at the moment. But that's not the parts we'd want to lose if we lost something, right? Anyway, had to pull the lead for the coolant temp. Yeah, that thing out through the main fire, the grommet there. So had to bust that out, take that a little loose, got the voltage regulator off. I got all of the outside of the cab wiring pulled out and labeled just in case I want future reference for a similar harness. This always kind of makes a guy a little melancholy, maybe is the right word. I don't know. When you have something this original and you can't use it, but it's been there since the guy at the factory put it in. And it's just kind of sad. sad to see it go, I guess. But it can be useful yet in the future, and the vehicle can be useful yet, and so I guess that kind of lives on in a way. But anyway, I'm just going to keep on moving, keep on disconnecting wires, cables, so on and so forth. I'm having to surgically remove the headlight switch. The bezel just spins, or the lock nut just spins, and we're not making any progress. So something inside the switch is stripped out or just spinning, and that's not going to do us any good. When it comes to these throttle and choke cables, what we got is kind of a flimsy tin bezel there that your little light bulb snaps in the top, and then you got light shining through this slot down here, just like this. If I can get my light in, there we go. Just like that kind of thing, you know, so you can see your controls, and I suppose it'd be a bit of a map light or whatever as well. But that gets in the way of getting a wrench on there. Those nuts are sunken in, and so I'm having to use a socket on there, and then I grab it with a vice grip and slowly turn it. Now the choke one worked pretty slick. Once I got it loose, it came right off. This one's being a bit of a bear. But I'll keep at it. There's a brace right behind here running the length of the dash, and the screw heads, the old stove bolts, go through that into your little gearbox for your windshield crank, and I just absolutely could do nothing with those screws. So I just got in there with a torch and cut them loose. So now I'll see if we can get things to moving here. I know our hinges are shot. One's gone. And perhaps I should just start with that and remove what's left. Yeah, I'm just going to slice this off. Gonna have to do it. Why is it the worst steel wants to cut the least? Does that make sense? I think you understand what I'm saying. This old gasket is just hermetically sealed or what's going on here. There we go. This is the head unit off a impact driver, just like this, 3/8 drive. And if you're really nice and kind and sweet and gentle, you can get away with getting some stubborn stove bolts out, you know. But you got to be nice and sweet and kind and gentle. Back in. Run her back out. There we go. I think I'm about done here. Everything is just, I just keep saying that, but I'm serious. Everything is so difficult and takes so long to get disconnected. The windshield, the gearbox is absolutely seized up. I have sprayed it down. If I could crank it and get the strip that pushes on it to move, then I could disconnect it at the bottom and swing it out and get it out of there. But that is seized up, and at this point I really don't know what I'm gonna need. I don't know what cab we're gonna end up using. I've probably already gone too far with this cab. I just don't know. But anyway, I think I'm just going to get this toe board off. I'm going to get some of the trim off the dash, so that's not. I don't know where we're going to end up putting this thing, honestly, but a few more things off of here, and I'm going to be done with it. Do you move? Thank you. Not enough, but thank you. Go back that way. There, attaboy. Anything in the contraband pocket? Well, there's plenty in there, but I don't think anything we want back, right?
Hey, wait a minute. Look at this. Yeah, that's pretty bad. You know, I don't feel safe riding around on a tire like that.
I don't blame you. That could get you in a lot of trouble.
Maybe I'd better change it.
I would if I were you.
So here's the state of things. You know, it's kind of loose. It's about half an hour before I go home for the evening, and I'm going to stop. Okay, let me back up. There are 8 bolts holding the cab to the frame. Some of them are special, you know, the spring and the wood mounts. We'll get into how that all works when we go back together with it. But they were all seized up. I didn't even mess with it. It all has to be replaced. So I just cut the heads off of every single bolt. Okay? And they were large square-headed bolts, maybe 5/8 or something. I didn't have a socket. It's a pain. They're going to be seized up anyway. Track record on this truck, they're going to be seized up. So we just whacked off the heads on top with the oxyacetylene and used a punch and drove all the bolts down through into the frame. Now, kind of my policy around here, since I don't live on this yard, is certainly within half an hour, and I really like to make it even an hour before I go home. If I'm doing any fabrication work, cutting, welding, certainly torching, that stops way in advance before I go home. Because if anything's going to flare up and smolder and reignite, I want to be sure I see it before I go home. You right? And these mounts incorporating a lot of wood and rubber, I'm still a little bit nervous about it. So I'm gonna go do something else. I need to get a fuel filter on the tractor that I'm gonna be using to lift this cab off and move it out of here. So we will probably do that in the morning if I can get the tractor running. That it's used very little, and it's a bit of a pain. It's got a bit of a attitude problem sometimes, but anyway, I think we are ready to go as far as we are gonna get, and when we cross the bridge of what we're gonna do with this thing, well, you'll know. So whatever. That was a lot of words to say the cab is loose, and the next thing you see is we're going to be pulling it off here. All right. Well, we are up and at 'em and raring to go. We've embraced the awesome power of the bacon, you know, so we're good to go, right? Hope the sling is long enough. Changed out the filter on the tractor last night and had that running. The fuel filter. I've even got the sun tea brewing. I mean, we're set. We're ready. So go fire the tractor up. I know we'll need a ratchet strap on the firewall side. We'll deal with that. I'm going to push you just a little bit farther here. The lost art of sweeping, or brooming as my kids used to call it. And the popular trend of turning every noun into a verb, right? Well, that was detrimental. I have the cab just sat on the ground out there in front of that garage. I have a cart I made years ago for truck cabs to sit on with casters, and of course I left that behind at home, so I will bring that here at some point in this morning or after dinner time and set that on there and wheel it into that garage. For now, we're going to push the chassis back in, and think we'll finish up this video getting the radiator and the whole shroud and the grill and headlights and everything off, and then we have a rolling chassis and nothing else. And then very soon we will not have a rolling chassis or anything else. So we'll see you then. Get out of the way. Oh, we've got to take a closer look at this. Got this tag soldered on here for one thing. Harrison. Lockport, New York. With a serial number. And then we got the normal Harrison. But we have a $3 price tag. So I'm guessing someone bought this used, and I'm wondering if it's not even the correct one, and that is why we have a slight modification in this region here, you know. There's the, oh, that's the patent number. I don't know. We could do a little investigation and figure that all out, but it's all coming out anyway. Just thought that was pretty interesting. $3. The sands of time, they do come for us all in the end. Well, there you go, guys. Part 2 completed. All of the sheet metal is gone, other than the little engine spillage trays. But that'll come out at the time we take the engine out. And so we need to get busy on that. We continue to strip this thing right on down to the bare frame. And then the massive amounts of cleanup and refinishing and whatever fabrication we have to get into will commence. So I need to have some sit down, drag out conversations with the owner about just what exactly he sees. I really, when a guy comes to me and says, make it original, that's so much easier because all decisions are already made by, in this case, Chevrolet 40 in 1940. All decisions were already made. When a guy says, I want more horsepower, what do you want? You know, and I guess it's kind of my own clean slate, my own palette. I'm the artist, and I have a blank canvas in those cases when they have no idea. Now, when they come to me with specifics and I see glaring problems, then we have to discuss that and iron that out and figure out what exactly we need to do there. The problem is, in this case, when a guy's easy to please, it's no problem. I do it my way, and if it meets expectations, then everything's good. If it doesn't, then it's my problem, you know. So that's the case with anything. Not a big deal. I would prefer, you know, if he doesn't want to stick in the stove bolt family, which I'm really sure he does not, then my next thought would be like a 292. I think I mentioned on the previous video, maybe I did, maybe I didn't, after a 292, would he be interested in going up to a Trailblazer engine, you know, 300 horsepower out of the box, or the sky's the limit on how much horsepower you can put through those. If he's not interested in that style, if he just absolutely wants a V8, there again, sky's the limit. What do you want to do, kind of thing. So we need to talk about that. We do anything, like I mentioned before, anything out of the stove bolt family, the entire drivetrain is then replaced with something more modern. So all of that will be figured out, and I'm going to bring you along for the ride. The only other thing I wanted to mention is in a text box in the previous video, I said this was probably export blue, and that was when I had my little LED light directly on the firewall. I think actually, this is completely irrelevant to anything going on here, but you know, I think most likely this is the darker, what they call boat swain blue. it seems to me a pretty dark blue, and I can see in my mind the brighter blue. I'm sure you can too on these old 40s trucks. So anyway, that is that. I'm going to continue on. Guys, we have a 48 Chevy car project going on. We have a Cadillac project going on. We have a 50 Willys Jeepster out there project going on. I've ordered parts for that. I've painted parts for the Cadillac. I actually have my boys, as they come in every day, rebuilding small parts, the carburetor, distributor. We're going through parts, getting those all ready for the engine to go back into the 48 Chevy. If the flies would stop popping over there. Not to mention other projects we have going on at my house. So got plenty going on. If you are here for this project, you've never been here before to this channel, go to my channel, check out what I've got going on, hit the subscribe button, do all the things you know you should do to keep caught up. I'm going to say farewell for now. Stop talking. Thanks for watching, guys. God bless you. We'll see you on the next one.